Hey everybody! Today we're going to establish the historical and biblical precedent for multiple marriages slash arranged marriages. So, at my church today, I found out that this year, sometime in this year, one's going to be around April, I think, that two people are going to get married. Technically four people, because when two people get married, they, you know. And I made a suggestion that didn't go over very well with the ladies, which marriage shouldn't be about the ladies anyway. It should be about the man, because wives are supposed to be submissive to their husbands. So, again, from a biblical standpoint and a biblical perspective, the man is supposed to take care of all the wedding stuff, not the wife, not the betrothed, not the women. So the man is supposed to take care of all of that from a biblical perspective. But I made a suggestion that um to the ladies. I said that you could solve all this by, I made two suggestions. The first suggestion was if they would just have a double wedding. Now, they're all members of the same church, right? And of course, it's a brother and sister from one family. Both are marrying another person. So it's not, so the brother and sister aren't marrying each other, okay? The brother has a girlfriend that's his fiance that he's marrying, and the sister has a boyfriend that proposed to her. The, the brother is the older one, and the sister is the younger one. And in my opinion, personally, I believe that um, the brother, the boy, asked his girlfriend to be his wife, to be his fiance, and I think that the other boy is just simping for the sister, be not his sister, the other boy, for the girl, and that when one found out, I'm trying to say all this without saying names because I don't want to tell people's names, but um, yeah, so the girl, the two girls are friends with each other. So they're fixing to be sister-in-laws, but they're already friends with each other, right? And the point I'm trying to make is that I think that her boyfriend only proposed a little while after because he found out about Cole, about oops, about the other boys. Anyway, the one boy proposing to the girl sister, and the only did it in my opinion because the other boy did it to his girlfriend first. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I made a suggestion that if they would have a double wedding, it would be fine. I also made a secondary suggestion that our pastor was there right now, and we could solve this problem like today, like right now, today. He could literally marry them right now, today. They didn't like any of my suggestions. I don't know why. They're smart. That's why single people are smart. We have the smarter suggestions. Anyway, so why do we not do multiple marriages anymore? Why do we not do double, triple, like mass weddings, where we have one wedding where multiple people are getting married, at the same time. Why do we not do that anymore? I mean, it's way economically feasible. It's more, I mean, we are in a time in the world right now where the main problem is one of our main problems at this current juncture is the economy. And if we look at it and see how expensive weddings are from an economical standpoint, having multiple women marry multiple guys in the same ceremony would be way more economically feasible. And in this particular case, we're talking about siblings. So we got a brother and a sister, right? Okay. So if the brother and the sister both getting married to their respective boyfriend and girlfriend, we now only have to invite 3 families to a wedding, to one wedding, instead of inviting one family twice to 2 separate weddings, and then also those other families. So just look at this for a moment. You're increasing the guests by a third, but you're actually decreasing everything by 25%, which is more economically feasible. It's smarter from an economical, financial standpoint. The both of the grooms can be one another's best man. Thus, right? Or you can cut the bridesmaids in half. You can cut the groomsmen in half. Since more people come to see the bride anyway, in this particular case, since more people come to see the bride, you can divide the chairs into 3. So you can go, are you here for this family, that family, or that family, right? You get it? And I've gone to weddings where people asked, this is me. I've actually did this. I've gone to weddings before where they said, are you with the groom or the bride? And I go, I know both of them. So I'm going to go sit where the groom sits because most people come for the bride, right? And if you know both the bride and the groom, you should sit where the groom's family sits because most people come to the wedding knowing the bride, not the groom. So you have room over in the groom section. That's just proper etiquette in my opinion. If you know both the groom and the bride, you should sit in the groom section. And if you're, in my opinion, if you're not like immediate family directly knowledge of the bride, it would probably be better to sit in the groom section. And if you're a wedding crasher, sit in the groom section. Just say you're with the grooms. Nobody will question. Anyway, but why would you crash weddings? Free cake! Oh yeah! Free food, free cake. I mean, seriously, that's no other reason. And usually weddings have awesome, amazing parties. So if you're not invited to a wedding, and it's not like one of those high class weddings where they're going to ask people and you just can walk in, plus you get to hear a cool sermon. Yeah. But I usually know both when I go to a wedding. So I am nice enough to sit in the groom's spot. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is a double wedding is cheaper. And at mass weddings have been a thing. There's a historical precedence for mass weddings, or or mass marriages at one wedding. You don't have to pay the preacher twice too. If you have a double wedding or triple wedding or something like that, you don't have to pay the preacher twice. You only have to pay the preacher once for doing that one service. You can cater you don't have to do two separate caterings. You can do one catering. It's so much. It's so much more. It's just so many things that you can do better if you're getting multiple people married at the same time. And there are precedents, both historically and biblically, for mass marriages. Okay, first, historically speaking, there was a time throughout history, in multiple times of history, when they would have, when towns would send for a group of women to come on a stagecoach. In the West, this is how there was plenty of men, and these eligible bachelorettes would go on stagecoaches. Now, mind you, they would correspond in correspondences sometimes to buy what was commonly referred to as a mail order bride. But in some cases, like 20, 30, 40, 50 women would show up all at once to a town that had a whole bunch of men. These are eligible bachelorettes, and the men were eligible bachelors. And the towns, so that they could repopulate and populate these towns, some cases repopulate, some cases actually populate and grow the towns. These towns would invite all these women to come because they had already had the men build the town. But now they didn't have any way for the men to create children and extend the town, right? They were doing it for the species, people, like they say in Starship Troopers. Anyway, so what they did was they brought the women, the town ordered these women. So it's not just a mail order bride, individuals ordering it. It was the whole entire town would order like 50 women. They would invite like 50 women to come. We have plenty of men. We need some women. All these men are single. All these men are eligible. And they would have a dance. And the eligible men would go pick their woman that they wanted to marry from this dance. And they would then marry them. The local magistrate and the local, the mayor, and the clergyman, the local clergyman, because usually towns back then only had one church, so they'd only have one pastor, and it wouldn't matter if you weren't of the same religion necessarily. Everybody went to the same church, and they weren't necessarily the same religion. The guy may have been a Catholic priest, right? But you may have been a Protestant. But you went to church on Sunday, and in some cases, the church and the school were in the same building. Church may have been in the same building as the general store. Church could have been in the same building as the bar. Matter of fact, in some cases, the courthouse could have been in the same building as the bar, or the courthouse could have been the church. Church and the courthouse could have been the same building. Oh no! Separation of church and state! No, there wasn't. The courthouse could have been in the bar. Could have been in the bar. The courthouse could have been in the school. They could have interchanged all these different areas, which was very economically wise thing to do. If you built a school and you made it also double as the government building and the church house, that's like 3 uses for the same building. Kids aren't in school all day. Church is only on Sunday. You can hold court on Saturday. You can hold court after school. This is genius. Our old people from back in the day, smart, had brains, were more economically feasible, were more efficient, and had more sense because it was like, hey, we're going to use this for this when we're not using it for that. Instead of having multiple buildings. Excuse me. Anyway. So anyway, the towns would marry off these these men never seen before, and then people didn't get married because we didn't have no default divorce. Outlaw no fault divorce and bring back multiple marriages. Bring back arranged marriages because this was like arranged marriages but by the government, the elected government. Now, why did they do it with a dance thing? Well, because traditionally America has always been a Christian religious nation. And where do they get this idea? Well, they get this idea from a biblical passage. Biblically, you would have arranged marriages. The fathers would they had matchmakers. They're still matchmakers today. Matchmaker, make me a match, find me a catch. Anyway, so matchmakers, they're professional matchmakers. They would find your kid a kid to marry, and then they would get married in arranged marriages. More than likely, Joseph and Mary was an arranged marriage. Joseph's parents picked Mary for Joseph to marry. And that's like across the board with like a whole bunch of other people. Matter of fact, Joseph, the one that had the coat, and his brothers, his brothers got rid of him and threw him in the well. And next thing you know, he got in the house, and then the lady tried to rape him, and he was like, "No, run away!" And then he got accused of it anyways. He got thrown in jail. And then he interpreted the Pharaoh's dream. He literally, when Pharaoh decided, I need you, when he interpreted Pharaoh's dream and he appointed Joseph as the basically second in command, he had to marry Joseph off to one of his daughters for it to be politically legal and look right and stuff, right? So and Solomon, who had like a bajillion wives, he had a lot of wives and concubines. He was a player. No, I'm just playing. But seriously, the reason why he married all these wives and had all these concubines, but his favorite was that Ethiopian. Whole book, Song of Solomon, Song of Songs, all about that one sexy Ethiopian girl. I'm telling you, who he may or may not have sent the Ark of the Covenant with, but probably did. Anyway, there's a Bible passage that alludes to the possibility of him sending the Ark of the Covenant with his Ethiopian woman. Also explains why there's an Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and there's some other Ethiopian churches that have extra books in their Bibles that we don't have in ours. There are a few Ethiopian churches. They even claim they have the ark and that there's this like guard that's guarding it, but I don't think they actually have it. I think they're just keeping up appearances to make their church more special or something. But anyway, maybe they do, but why wouldn't somebody just come in and take it? It's only guarded by one person, like one guy, until he dies, and then the that church, like makes they appoint a new guard. It's kind of like the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, where there's literally a guy stationed. Well, there's more than one guy, but there's like a few guys stationed, and they guard the unknown soldier. And there's literally like a bunker thing where when the guard's not guarding the tomb, they live there. Like, you literally live there, and you serve a shift, and then he serves a shift, and then he serves a shift, and like y'all do that. It's your literal life until you are assigned to another thing. But it's literally like the most prestigious, highest honor you can get to be assigned to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Anyway, this is some side notes, side facts, bonus facts, bonus facts. Oh yeah, and don't mess with the Unknown Soldier and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. That that there's videos out there, you can go watch them, of people just trying to do stuff. Yeah, don't don't disrespect the Unknown Soldier. Anyway, so these towns would basically do that, right? So biblically speaking, they get it from a biblical passage in the Bible. Okay, so the children of Israel, they walked 40 years into the wilderness and stuff, right? So all the older people died. And now we had young people, we had young women and young men that were not married yet. And they needed to have children. Because the people who went into the promised land to go conquer it with Joshua, besides Joshua and Caleb, those people who went to go conquer the land were not the same as the people who rejected. Everybody who decided not to go conquer the land 40 years ago was had to die out. But those 40 years of people had to have children and grandchildren. So Moses was told by God that the children needed, they don't have parents to make arranged marriages. So Moses, I think it was Moses, this may have been after the fact. This is either during the 40 years, I don't remember, but I do know that this happened in the Bible, and I could look it up. But it was either it either happened under Moses' watch while during the 40 years, or it happened after Joshua conquered the Promised Land, or parts of the Promised Land. I don't remember, but I think it happened during the 40 years walk, where Moses was leader. But it may have happened after Joshua conquered the Promised Land. Either way, the point is that God told Moses, or he told Joshua, I don't remember which one, he told them that since they all these kids, they were of age to procreate, right? They were of age to be married and procreate and create children. So God told Moses, or he told Joshua, to gather all the females and all the males that weren't already married and were of age to get married. And he said, girls, let's dance. Yeah, he told the girls to dance. And the men were encamped around them. That means the girls got in a circle and the girls danced. The girls danced their most best dance they could dance, right? And the guys would go to the girl that attracted them the best. So basically whatever girl you had the most lust for, that's the one you went after and you married. You picked your bride. This was how God decided to create an arranged marriage. Okay? An arranged marriage by God. He said, boom, I'm going to tell these girls to dance attractively for you guys, and your lust is going to make you want one, and you go get it. You go get that one. So these guys, if they wanted, so depending on the guy, I guess, some guys probably waited till the very end to pick girls. Some guys probably picked a girl that couldn't dance because maybe he can't dance and he don't want a girl that can dance because she'll be wanting him to dance. And some guys probably picked that girl over there because she was one hot mama. And that one girl maybe was dancing really lustfully and sexy and stuff. And some of those girls may have been dancing that way. Or some of the guys probably picked a girl because she was intentionally dancing toward him. You know, she was like, she saw him and she's like, I want him to pick me. You know, and then there was some girls that said, I ain't dancing, and just stood up, like defiant, like, I don't want to dance. And this other guy was like, man, I like that girl. She's defined the order of dancing. She's here to get married, but she don't want to dance. I'm going after her. Or there's some girls that maybe couldn't dance and they tripped, and the guy was like, oh, I want a delicate flower like her. I want to go protect her. Simps. No, I'm just playing. Anyway, and then maybe there was the guys out there that was like, yeah, I'm gonna let all the other guys pick the girls first, cause I want the girl that guys don't want to fight over. And then there was maybe some guys that were like, okay, she can't dance very good. She fell down. She picked herself back up. She fell down again, picked herself back up, and she kept trying. And then there was some guys who was probably like, I like that one over there. You know, she's kind of shy. She's not really dancing much. She's not being bold and standing around. And she don't look all that good looking. But she's not trying to get me. She's not trying to get my attention. And that's what's getting my attention. You know, so these guys had various different reasons for picking the girls. Some probably picked it because it made the thing with, you know, the thing was getting hard. Some guys probably picked girls based off of what they did, or how they looked, or how they dressed, or how they undressed. I don't know what they was doing. They was dancing. All it says was dancing. It didn't say what kind of dancing. It didn't say it was exotic dancing. It didn't say classical dancing. It didn't say any kind of dancing. It just said they was dancing. So yeah, they was dancing. Dancing. So they danced. And we danced. So they danced, right? They danced, and the men went and got them. Some of them were probably terrible dancers. Some of them was maybe some of them were wild dancers. Some of them were shaking that thing, you know what I mean? Some of them was, you know, no telling what they was doing. They was just dancing, and the guys were going and picking them, and that was how they got the romance and to getting married. That was the literal way they got their arranged marriage in the Bible. So they grabbed the girl and they immediately went and took her home and consummated some marriages. Oh yeah. Anyway, so that's what they did. So we get a precedent from the Bible, which backed the historical precedent, which the Bible is also historical. So the reason why the government and the clergy could agree with this is because they had a biblical basis and backing for doing this marriage thing. So maybe we should bring it back. Bring it back! But outlaw no-fault divorce first. Definitely outlaw no-fault divorce. Outlaw no fault divorce before we bring this back. Maybe some churches, I don't know, just saying, maybe some churches, and not the churches, chicken churches, the actual churches, religious churches, should sponsor some of these events to try to get the single men and the single girls together. And tell the girls they ain't got no choice. They have to dance, and whatever guy decides to go up there to date them, they have to go out on dates with these guys. Have to, by law, or else we revoke their membership from the church. Yeah! Let's do that. Seriously, churches, get some gumption and sponsor a date night thing and tell the girls they are required to stay as members of your church to date the guy to date any guy that asks them out that's also a member of the church. Yeah, make that a new rule. Should be a new rule. Should be a new law. And tell them they can't are not see, because the Bible says that don't be unequally yoked, which means that the girls that are in church should not be dating guys that also are not also in church, especially if they're not in the same church as them. If they're not in church at all, they shouldn't be dating them. But if they're not in the same church as them or the same denomination as them, that's also unequally in yoking of the unequalness, which we don't need. Don't have that. None of that now. So maybe if the church is really cared about the men and women getting it on, getting together, let's get it together right now. Anyway, I was talking with my mom about this, and my mom was saying, well, they needed to do that because of, they needed to increase the population. Well, we need to increase the population now. The problem is the population is bad now, especially in the churches. I mean, the churches are losing members like all the time. They're losing men because you can't make these women do right. That's why they're losing the men, because the churches won't make the women do right. If the churches would make the women do right, they would gain men. They wouldn't be losing men. Men would be going to those churches because they'd be like, man, these are the women. They'd be going to these churches to try to get these type of women because they'd be the type of women that do right. But no, the churches are coddling to the women. Coddling. They won't preach against women's sins. And they hammer down about men are bad, men are being bad. And they also hammer down on, well, if you were a good man, you'd be married already. No. Paul was single, never married, wrote half the New Testament. And there's plenty of stuff about Paul toiling people. Hey, unless, if you lust, yeah, get married. But if you're not married, be part of the ministry. Which the Catholic Church kind of gets, they twist that words, which means, oh, if you're not going to get married, then you should get married to God and become a priest or a nun, which aren't supposed to get none. But that's not what it meant. It does not mean that if you don't get married that you become part of the clergy. Because there's other passages in the Bible that says to be a deacon and to be a pastor, you have to have one wife. Which my pastor actually stated that would mean a one-woman man. So his definition is you don't necessarily have to get married or be married to be a pastor or to be a deacon. You just have to be a one-woman man, which means if you are single, you're not dating multiple women. You're like dating that one girl on planning of getting married to that one girl, right? Or if you're single and you're not dating anybody and you're just single, you're devoting yourself to the ministry. So you're not worried about being a one-woman man. Maybe you'll get one, because do all these things for the Lord and then all these things will be added unto you, right? So maybe if you devote your time to the ministry, then the Lord will bring you that Proverbs type woman, right? Also, a person who has a wife has to spend their time, protecting and providing for a wife, which can take time away from doing the chores of the actual ministry. So the Mormons get it wrong by telling you, well, how about you just marry a widow? You can take care of the widow and orphans if you marry them. The Catholics get it wrong by saying, well, if you're not getting married, you got to become part of the clergy. So people get the whole entire idea wrong. They say they won't make you a deacon because you're not married, or some places won't ordain you ordain you to become a pastor because you're not married. In some places, some groups are strict to the point where, well, you were divorced, we can't do it, or this is your second wife, we won't let you do it, or something of that nature. Anyways, so why don't we have these again? I mean, why do we not have multiple weddings? Like wedding ceremonies where multiple people are getting married at the same time. Mass marriages. I mean, the whole entire reason for marriage is procreation. Nowadays, people are too sexually promiscuous that they don't even get married. They, in some cases, live together, but in some cases, they also don't do that. They're very sexually promiscuous in the point where people are not getting married. And there's no reason to get married now because why would you get married? Like all the laws, all the legalities of marriage are pretty much on the woman's favor. Uh, so why would a man want to do this? Why would he want to get married when all of the when the benefit, the cost versus benefit ratio is not worth it in today's society because you do not get what you should be getting to get married. Marriage was a union between a man and a woman, so it became a partnership. And in this union ordained and created by God, the man was to be the head and leader of the household. He would become the head leader of household by being the protector and provider. But why, if the man is not going to be the leader and the wife is not going to be submissive to her husband, then there is no reason for a man to be a protector and provider. She submits, he rules. If he protects and provides, he rules, and she submits. Okay? It's not up to her to decide how he protects or provides. It's up to her to follow his leadership of how he best decides to protect and provide through a biblical understanding of protecting and providing. So, why do we not have mass marriages or multiple marriages anymore? Why are our weddings exclusively about the bride? None of this is biblical. I mean, it's terrible. It's like crazy. Why? Why on earth do we do these things? Like, seriously, what is the purpose? What is the point? Also, like some of these modern day women don't even want to take on the last name of their husband. So why would anybody want? Why would anybody want to marry a woman that doesn't even want to take on their name? All right, I'm back. Oh, so why would you marry a woman when she doesn't want to fulfill her traditional role of a wife? It's like a lot of women just want a wedding. They don't want to be a wife. They want a man to protect and provide for them, but they don't want to submit to him. They want the man to be the head of household, but they want to make the decisions. And then if the decisions are bad, they go, "Well, you're the head of the household," so that they can just blame the man for all the problems instead of taking personal responsibility and accountability for their own actions. And if people are having premarital sex and sexual relations out of wedlock and all this stuff, and they're having children out of wedlock and stuff too, why would you even get married? I mean, what's the point? Nowadays, all it is a government piece of paper, and it's not even legally binding because there's no fault divorce. There's, I mean, seriously, that's why you need a prenuptial agreement if you get married. But there's really no reason to get married. I mean, in the sense that the government's involved, and I just don't see the necessity of it from a legal standpoint or from any standpoint until I mean, you. Here is what you are supposed to get. This is how biblical marriage works, and this is what a man gets. A man is supposed to acquire a virgin with exclusive sexual assets, with the exclusive sexuality. Okay, so here is what a man is supposed to get when he gets married. One, the girl is supposed to be a virgin. Two, the girl is supposed to be submissive. Three, it's supposed to be for life. Four, it's supposed to be exclusive, sexually exclusive. You're the only one that's ever going to get to have sex with her. Okay? This is what you get as a man. Okay? And what the woman gets is protection and provision and authority. And she gets protection and provision from and someone that will be her new authoritarian master. By by giving up all her administrative and leadership power to him, that lessens her burden. By submitting to him that lessens her burden. By being a virgin and giving only him exclusive sexual access to her. That also lessens her, like, the benefits. Like, feminism has lied to you girls. Uh, the 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 whole entire being a stay-at-home wife that's submissive and traditional and actually serves your husband and actually does the things in Proverbs, which are work. They are work. Um, that actually works to do things for the children. Oh, the fifth thing the guy gets is to increase the to increase his to to spread his seed to procreate to increase his generation um, for the next generation. That's why the two shall become one flesh through children. Uh, she also gets exclusive sexual access to him. She doesn't have to look around for all these other guys to sleep with to try to find the best one. She already has the best one, the only one. He has the best one, the only one. They don't have to go search around, you know, and do their wild seeds and wild oats and sow their wild oats and seeds and stuff because they already have a person to do all that with. They can literally try everything with that one person. Everything. Marriage bed, undefiled. Boom. That's what the Bible says. Okay, so boom. Shaka. Okay? They can try everything as long as it's just that him and her. No third parties. None. Okay. So again, the girl does not have to worry about money. She doesn't have to worry about who's in charge, what's in charge, why they're in charge. See, the girl gets to be her husband's helpmate. When she gives him complete authority on everything, his word, final decision, all that. Jesus, the church is the bride of Christ. We love Jesus because we keep his commandments. We give him final, complete other authority over us as a church. That is how the bride should do to the. What did Jesus do for the bride? He sacrificed his life for the bride. He saved the bride. So we, the husband, should be able to save his wife. He saves his wife from everything, the world, by making her part of his world. He saves her from other men who didn't want to marry her, but wanted the other stuff from her. But she said no, and gave him the exclusivity. He saves her from, all the dangers by being protector and provider. He saves her from having to work. He saves her from having, well, not from having to work, but he saves her from having to do the everyday door to chore, everyday chore things that men have to do. He protects, he provides, he saves. And he is the one that is willing to die. And usually men do die before their wives, but not always, but usually they do. Sometimes the opposite happens. but that's what he does. So, should we bring marriage back? Well, we should bring back biblical marriage. Should we even get married? Probably not. I mean, there's really is no need or necessity for people to get married when it's non biblical. The government has gotten involved, and personally, I don't think that a Christian should get married legally. I think people should get married biblically, so yes, you should have your religious leader, pastor, marry you off. No, I do not think you should have to be legally married because the government has gone so far away from the biblical concept of marriage that the stupid piece of paper for marriage isn't even worth the paper it's printed on. It's just a way for the government to create a tax system and to oppress men in general with all the laws that are pro women and not making marriage equal. I mean, feminists and feminism always talk about they want to be equal. But if they wanted to be equal, they would abolish no fault divorce. If they wanted to be equal, they would abolish child support, and if they wanted to be equal, they would abolish not giving. They all custody would be joint custody, true joint custody. If they wanted to be equal, they would abolish alimony. These would be true equalities. But they only want equality when it suits them, and not true equality. Because true equality makes both sides equal. And they don't want that. And we're already equal in Christ because we're all sinners. We're all equally sinners, regardless of how many sins we've committed. Every sin is equal to an eternity in hell. So male and female are equal. When they become one family, one creature in Christ, with one union for life, they're equal. They're equal as Christians because all Christians are equal, and they are equally doing their role toward God to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. So that's just my thoughts for today. So my thoughts for today about marriage and weddings and stuff. And why don't multiple people get married anymore? People aren't even getting married nowadays. Some are and some aren't. But I really think that people probably shouldn't get married. I'm against weddings. I mean, they're just a elaborate waste of money. I mean, swear they're elaborate waste of money. Wedding dresses are like expensive. Like catering is like expensive. And no, it's like wedding cakes cost a lot of money. Like It's just ridiculous. And most of the stuff at a wedding isn't even like good food. I mean, it's like finger foods and snacks and stuff like that. I'm like, if you're gonna cater a wedding, like, can we like get a whole bunch of buckets of KFC or something, or have like a whole bunch of Papa John's pizzas delivered? Can we cater it that way somehow? Cause like I swear, people would love a wedding that was buckets of KFC, Papa John's pizzas, Domino's pizzas, maybe hot wings from some of these hot wings places, maybe some fish from Captain D's, or some fish from one of these fish places, fish frying places, or something. I swear, there would be a better way to cater these weddings. Or why can't we just, I don't know, have a church potluck and have a ceremony before the church potluck? Everybody brings their own potluck stuff, and a couple that want to get married and they've gone through the biblical Christian counseling with the pastor already. They done finished it. They can, they can get married. Oh, jeez. You can marry them. I'm just digressing that it should be easier way that's more economically feasible and smarter, because you you're spending what could be a down payment on a house, or possibly buying a new car, on the price of these flipping weddings. It's ridiculous. It's retarded how much people spend on them. And then with the statistics that a lot of these weddings don't even last like years. Some of them last like 6 months, or a year, or 2 years, and people are not even married anymore. With that kind of reality going on, marriage has not lasted that long. Yawning. Uh, it would be utterly insane and ridiculous to spend that kind of money. I mean, traditionally, yes, the father of the bride paid for all that. But nowadays, the father of the bride ain't got no money. Like, seriously. So, who's paying for all this? The groom? The bride and groom? The ones that just got married? You're starting your married life with a bunch of credit card debt that you just spent on this wedding. That makes literally no sense at all. Period. No matter who you are. It's crazy. Anyway, remember, God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. Keep on gaming. Keep on collecting. Don't get married. Or maybe get married. I don't know. Anybody get married? Anybody? Comment down below. Jesus loves you. Jesus God. Jesus Lord. Jesus King. Jesus ruler. Everything. But something went wrong with weddings and marriages. I swear. Like, when and why did they become like exclusively bride only, her day event things, uh and they have to be these elaborate thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars spent on them? Like, what the hell? Like, hell's bells is what I'm thinking over here, because it's just ridiculous. It's insane. It's retarded. It's just like not the most intelligent thing to spend your money on from an economical standpoint, in my opinion. It's just go to the JLP if you want to get married. I mean, I swear. Like, seriously. Come on, people. Or get your pastor to do a little private sermon service for you at your church where you and your girlfriend get married. And have potluck. I mean, invite your fellowship, your church fellowship, congregation. One Sunday sermon service could be that couple getting married. Like, seriously. Anyway, have a blessed day. Y'all been here for an hour. I've been here for an hour. Y'all probably didn't watch the whole thing anyway. So if you did, comment down below what you think about marriages and weddings.